Well, you join us on the outskirts of Praia da Luz in the Algarve here at the bottom of Portugal, where a significant police operation has begun today. This is the latest search in the case of the disappearance of Madeleine McCann. This is a police investigation that is now being led by German police. I apologise if it's particularly windy here. We are not far from the cliffside, and it gives you a bit of a picture of the exposed area that police are having to search. I'll tell you a bit about that in a moment. But as I say, this is an investigation that is being led by German authorities. They requested from their Portuguese counterparts back in April to carry out further searches in this scrubland behind us here. Now, as the crow flies, we are about a mile east of Praia da Luz and the apartment that Madeleine McCann went missing from back in May 2007. She, of course, was 3 years old. She was with her family, her parents and siblings, staying in that holiday apartment in the resort of Praia da Luz nearly 20 years ago, 18 years ago, when at around 10 p.m. her parents, who had been out dining at a restaurant nearby, had come back frequently to check, and then she was not there and had gone missing. And it sparked really a Europe-wide huge police operation with police from the UK, elsewhere, all involved in searches. And over the last near 2 decades, we have seen a number of police searches, not just here in the immediate area in the Algarve. I've attended searches in Germany, and we'll come on to why in Germany in a moment, but there have been investigations led by police here in Portugal, by the Metropolitan Police in the UK, but here we are still with no answers as to just where that 3-year-old British girl ended up. Now, as I mentioned, German police leading that investigation, and that is because the prime suspect in the disappearance of Madeleine McCann is a 48-year-old German man, Christian B., who is currently in jail in Germany. He is serving a 7-year sentence for rape. He has always denied any involvement in Madeleine McCann's disappearance, but he has been central in multiple police investigations, no charges ever brought, and he continues to deny that involvement, but police have him front and centre of their continuing investigation. Now, he is due to be released from prison in September, potentially, for this current spell that he is serving, and that is a cause of concern for police. They may well want to bring charges, a last push in this case before he is released. They have a fear that he, of course, could disappear. So what exactly is happening here in Praia da Luz? Well, we spent the day going around the area behind me here. As I say, it is sort of dense scrubland. If we just have a look up here, this gives you a sort of sense. Thick bush, there are outbuildings, there are old barns, there are building ruins, there are old wells. It is inhabited, but very small scale. There is a vineyard in there, there is a couple of houses, but generally speaking, it is simply scrub and bushland. And we got here at around 6 o'clock this morning, before the police line was put on this driveway here. We managed to get pretty close to the operational tents that have been police. There were 2 tents and a police van there. I spoke briefly to an officer. He was wearing a balaclava. He didn't want to speak on camera, but he did tell me that they will be searching a large number of sites, that around a dozen German police officers would be attending to carry out the investigation with their Portuguese counterparts. You know, what we don't know at the minute is whether or not this search is specific to any new intelligence from the German authorities. Has someone said something? Has someone given a key bit of information? This scrubland has been searched before. This is not untouched. Now, there may well, of course, be other areas. It is a vast, vast area. Not all of it has been searched. And there is a focus on old farmhouses and the area surrounding the property that Christian B. used to live in. He was in Praia da Luz back in 2007. He worked as a local handyman, and that has been a focus of previous investigations, and it is indeed again a focus of the investigation here. So that is where police are focusing. We know that they're changing locations each day. Difficult to ascertain at the moment exactly the locations, because after we were pushed back at around 8 in the morning back to this line, we've driven around to the cliff edges on both sides. Both sides have got police cars there, and they're not allowing any press any nearer. There is a no-fly zone as well for drones. So obviously police have put this whole area in lockdown. Remote this way, but actually, just quickly look around. It is on the edge of a golf course and a holiday housing area. Now, these built, of course, over the 18 years or so, and they've gone further and further inland towards the coast. So these properties are very new. They are now overlooking what is a significant police investigation and scene. We're hearing, of course, some of the police vans moving, and what's been interesting here is that this is clearly a joint operation between the Germans and the Portuguese. We weren't sure really whether or not it was an issue, whether it was the Portuguese police doing it on behalf of the German authorities, but at one point this morning we saw 5 vehicles, 2 vans and 3 cars, all with German number plates. They're driven over from Germany. Inside we saw police officers, some in full camouflage gear. There are clearly specialist teams, with some reports that they're using ground penetrating radar equipment, which has been used in previous searches in the case of Madeleine McCann. Now, what exactly are they looking for? Well, the prosecution and the police here in Portugal have said that they are looking, of course, for a body. They are looking for any evidence that Madeleine McCann was here, was brought here, and was taken from that holiday apartment a mile as the crow flies that way to this area. Was she taken here? Was she dumped here? We don't know, but that is a central part of the investigation. Local press here in Portugal reporting today as well that there are 2 wells that they are emptying water from, 2 ancient wells here in this land that they are emptying the water from today, and they're going to look at that internal structure. Could that provide any clues? Of course, it may not be the case that they're just looking for remains, for instance, items of clothing, toys, anything that could have some DNA trace on will be central to that investigation. And those tents that they put up there, of course, would be able to house those forensic elements and those forensic officers that would be needed to carry out that. Are we going to get any answers? Well, I think if anything of significance is found, they are of course going to want to verify that. So it might be the case that things are taken away. They are going to want to be extremely careful about how they deal with this. This is one of the world's most high-profile missing persons cases, so it is all eyes from around the world are on that, and you can see that. I mean, actually it's quietened down now, but you can see some of the other world's media who are here this morning. I would say there were 30 to 40 journalists for the breakfast shows this morning, who had come from across Europe and around the world to cover this story. And you know, every time there is a search in this case of Madeleine McCann, it draws the eyes of the world. Such is the high-profile nature of her disappearance. That 3-year-old girl last month of her disappearance. Her parents, Kate and Jerry McCann, of course, so central to some of those early investigations and faced such abuse and turmoil. You know, they are having to live with this every time. They did issue a statement last month on the 18th anniversary saying that they miss their girl, saying that they will leave no stone unturned as part of their search to find out where she is. It would have been her birthday as well in recent months, and they still mark that. You can't imagine how difficult it is for the family. But look, here we are again, more than 2 years after the last significant search in the Madeleine McCann case. That was here in Portugal at a dam around 45 minutes away from the apartment, not as local. That lasted several days, and it came to no fruition. Nothing of significance was found. Will it be different this time? Will the police officers find anything significant? Well, the timescale is that this search and the tents and the equipment were brought in yesterday. It began in earnest at around 7 o'clock this morning, Tuesday, and it will continue, we are told, until the 6th, Friday. So it is a full week's search that, of course, could be extended should anything of significance be found. Stay with Sky News. We will, of course, bring you the latest updates online and on TV and on all of our platforms. But from Pride and Luge here, we'll leave you be. The police continuing that search from today until Friday.